All right. What can be done to ensure that the recent incidents, such as the hate crime against the Black York University students, doesn't become a reoccurring event?
Well, I think what we have to do is be much more vigilant and intentional about teaching our children, our staff, our parent community about anti-racism, about on equity issues, anti-sexism. I think that there's a whole range of equity education that needs to happen, and that's something that we have begun. We have given schools money for anti-bullying programs and conflict resolution programs, and as part of that work, there is anti-racism education that happens. We've given school boards resources for character education, and character education is, part of that is getting along with people and understanding the values that we all share, no matter what our background is. I think there's more work to be done on equity, and that is work that we are actually beginning or have been working on for the last number of months, and I'll be talking more about that in the future.
Okay.
As a follow-up to that question, Minister, what campus safety and security initiatives is the Minister doing to assist educational institutions to improve safety and security systems and ensure that students will have a safe, not only the students, but the faculty and staff will have a safe and secure school environment?
Yeah. So the starting point for us is that our schools must be inclusive, they must be safe for our children and for our staff, and as you say, there are things we need to do to ensure that. So when we first came into office, we required schools to do safety audits, and as a result of those safety audits, there were cameras put in many schools where it was difficult for the person who's sitting in the office to see the entrance or to see certain hallways. There were cameras that went out into our schools. Not all schools have security cameras because not all schools are designed so that a security camera would be helpful, because if there's more than one entrance and the school determined that they couldn't lock down they couldn't lock all the other doors except for one, then a security camera isn't as useful. But where it was possible, security cameras were put in place. But beyond that, as I say, we have developed resources for conflict resolution and for anti-bullying. And the thing about safety is there's physical safety, but there's also emotional, social, psychological safety. And so making sure that our teachers and our education assistants and our lunchroom supervisors and our caretakers all understand what bullying is, how it works, how to help kids to interact with each other is a really important part of making a safe school. And so those programs and those resources that have been put in place are one aspect of making our schools safer. The other thing we've done is we have put more than 9,000 teachers into our schools. And every time you put an adult, a trained adult, a caring adult into a school, you make that school safer because there are more adults paying attention to the kids. We have put around 6,000, funding for around 6,000 support workers, so education assistants, social workers, psychologists, all of those people who aren't necessarily classroom teachers, but are other adults in the schools. So that's over the last 4 years. We know there's more to be done, but that's a very big start. We're changing the Act. Bill 212 was an act that has changed the law around safe schools, and we are now requiring boards of education to provide programs for students who have been suspended for more than 5 days or have been expelled, so that those kids, when they come back into the school, they've developed some skills, they're going to be able to take part in the life of the school. So that, again, is another thing that we've done to make the school safer. And as part of that, those changes to the Safe Schools Act, we've given boards more resources for hiring more of those people I was talking about, so the child and youth workers, social workers, psychologists, because those are the people who can help make the schools safe. So we've actually done a lot, and we know there's more to be done.
Okay. Reducing class sizes have been a long-term promise from the Liberals. Will there be continued work towards ensuring that students do receive the attention they need in a manageable class setting?
Well, we've actually delivered on that promise. We said that we were going to reduce 90% of kindergarten to grade 3 classes to 20 students or fewer. We're at about 88.5%, 88.4%, so we're almost there. 100% of those kindergarten to grade 3, nearly 100% of those kindergarten to grade 3 classes are at 23 students or fewer. So they're all down. The average number was up in the 30s when we came into office, and those are all down to 23 or fewer or 20 or fewer. So we're just about there. Will we continue to support those class sizes in the kindergarten to grade 3? Absolutely. The money and the teachers that we put in will stay in the system. Are we going to cap class size in the older grades? No, we're not going to do that. We will do some class size reduction, but what we need to do in those upper years, so grade 4 and up, is we need to continue to invest in programs and teachers to deliver other kinds of enrichment. Class size reduction is particularly useful in the early years. As you get older, there are other things that kids need. For example, they need hands-on experience. They need the opportunity for outdoor education. Those kinds of things, arts, music. So we're going to focus on getting those resources into those upper grades.